Yes, ma'am.
And Payal,
Yes, ma'am.
Ganesh, Shubham,
Present, ma'am.
Ankita. Okay, so
Yes.
you five, and also Anuj and Ankush. Anuj,
Yeah.
Ankush, both there? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So the previous names that I except Anuj and Ankush, all other are using my MS SQL, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, Anuj and Ankush, what is the difference? Like you are going to have is like the same project you also going to do the bookstore. Okay. But the only difference is you will be using MongoDB as a database, and all of them, like whoever going to work on the bookstore, they will be working with the MS SQL.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, but the thing is, the concept, the logic, everything is going to be similar. Only the way of writing the code will be different. Okay. So everyone, remember how you guys have created your Fundu project, the backend. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So everyone are full stack developer, except Anuj and Ankush. Others.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Full stack.
Okay. So this project is going to be for 2 weeks. Okay, Rusikesh also. You also, right? Rusikesh, bookstore. You are going to start.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So how this is going to proceed? That 1 week we will be learning about the backend. We'll complete our backend, and 1 week we'll be doing the front end part. Is it clear for everyone? This is for full stack developers. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes, ma'am.
1 week you'll be. So today is Tuesday. Okay. So next Tuesday we have to start the front end. Is it clear? Or before that also, if you get completed, it's totally fine. We can start the front end whenever we are completed with the backend. Okay. So how we are going to work is basically the bookstore is nothing but an e-commerce site. Okay. And we'll be doing the project with the help of ADO.NET. So everyone has done the ADO.NET in RFP, right? Previous project, the Fundu was in Entity Framework. Right, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now this project will be doing with the help of this thing, ADO.NET. Okay. So what is the difference that you will face? That will not be doing any migration. Okay. Will not be writing any user context class. Okay. Like previously in Entity Framework. So whenever we are switching from entity to ADO, it is little bit confusing, but we need not to get confused that only the RL part, repository layer, right? Everyone knows that we write the code in repository layer, then we call it in a manager layer or business layer, and then we call it in the controller. This is how the flow goes, right? So in case of this also, everything is going to be same. The only difference is the repository layer. Previously you have used Entity Framework. So what you do, you write the add, save changes, update, save changes, remove, save changes, or find, right? These are the methods that you have used. But now what we are going to use, we'll be writing. Firstly, how we are going to proceed, we'll be creating a database, because the ADO.NET is a database first approach. Okay. So firstly we'll create a database, and then we'll create a table. Like if the firstly we'll be having user table, book table, so many tables. So I'm just giving an overview. Firstly we'll create a table. Okay. And once the table is created, what is the operation? Like in case if we are working on user APIs, so what are the user APIs? Register, login, reset password, and forget password, right? So for these three process, like 4 of the APIs, what we need to do, we need to write store procedure. Okay. Because in entity, it is everything is inbuilt, right, guys?
Yes.
In entity, the add and save changes is the inbuilt. You need not write any store procedure or anything, right? But in case of ADO.NET, you have to write everything. Is it clear? You have
Yes,
to
ma'am.
write you have to
Yes,
create
ma'am.
the table also. You have to write the store procedure also. Then you have to call those store procedure in your methods. Fine. So this is how the ADO.NET works. So firstly, for today, what I want from every one of you, go through the project that you have done in RFP, ADO.NET. Okay. Because if you go through videos, you'll get confused. Okay. So firstly, refer that project when you were learning SQL. That time only you have done. Okay. So 2 projects you have done, employee wage, and I think address book also. Right. Everyone has done that with ADO.NET.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So basic of store procedure, like how to write store procedure for insert, update, delete, and select. So firstly, we need to understand that as well. Okay, like how to create a table and what are the basic commands in SQL. All those things we need to revise because previously when you're working on Fundu, you have used the entity framework and these things were not required. Okay, but now we need to go through all those things. So firstly, let me show you the design that we are going to work. Okay, and there will be layered architecture. The project is going to be similar to the Fundu. The only difference is in Fundu, what we have done, we have used code first approach, that is entity framework, and now we'll be using the database first approach. So have that clarity in your mind, ki what is database first and what is code first. Okay, so code first means firstly you write the code, you do some migration, right? But in case of database first approach, you do start with the database first and then you write the C# code. Okay. So this is the design, Adobe design that I'll be sharing with you guys. Okay. You have to go through these design and this is for whoever full stack developers, guys, you are going to create these pages. Maybe if you are with Angular or with React. Okay. Can you see these pages? There are so many. So do not think that you have to create all of these pages. Basically, there are so many pages that are repeated. Like you can see these 2 pages, right? Then again, these 2, they'll be same. So first thing, whenever we are going to start, so if you see this page, the design, you can see that it is, the name says bookstore, right? So it is similar to an e-commerce site, like normally how you do shopping, right? If you go to any application or any site for the shopping, you'll be having the product, right? In case of ours, we are only going to have books. Okay. So it is a bookstore application project where you'll be having, we can add the book, okay, and we can get the book, and also we can add to cart, add to wish list, order, and we can add our address in which order we want the book. Okay, guys, I want proper, yeah.
Yes.
Please be responsible. Yeah. If you don't understand anything, stop me then and there. Okay. So it is very obvious that if you're going to any site and if you are going to see the items of the product, like whatever products are there. So nowadays we do not have something like only one product in one site. There are many stores like that, but still like most of them are having everything, so many categories. But in our case, we only have book, right? So when you want to add that book to the wish list or add to order or add to cart, firstly, what we need to do, you should be registered there in that particular site, right?
Yes.
You should get registered there, and once you log in only you can do. Okay, in case if you forget your password on that particular, like I think everyone might have faced this with Amazon. If you uninstall the Amazon and if you like already logged in previously and you uninstall it again, if you use, like that process will become a little bit complex, the reset password, forget password, because if you already logged in with the same email ID, you cannot again register with the same, right? If you anyone have faced this or ever noticed, like
Yes.
if you are registered once with one email ID, you cannot again register with the same email ID or same phone number. You have to change both. That is only in Amazon. In other website, you can do. Okay. You can change your name and all and you can register again. But on Amazon, you cannot do that. Only one register, like email once at a time. Okay. So firstly, we'll be working on user part. Why we'll be working on user part? Because how we want, like firstly, जब भी आप जाते हो किसी site पे, so we want that firstly register and login and then move to the book part. Okay, we can see the books and we can add to wish list, add to cart, that part. So firstly, this is the design. So for creating table for this user, what all the entities we require? We have to see the design, right? Because if you are writing previously in Fundu, you have first name, last name, right? Why do we have that first name, last name? Because Gmail account, when you register with a Gmail account, it will ask for your first name, last name, username, that is nothing but the email ID, and then password. It will be asking for password and confirm password. So using that design only, you create the register model in Fundu, right? Remember everyone?
Yes.
Previously, how you have done that?
Yes, ma'am.
Mentor have told you, they have shown you the design of the Gmail account register, and then only will be creating. So same goes here also. You have to refer the design, because with this design only, for this design only, we are creating a backend, right? for this design only, we are going to create a backend and then we'll be creating a front end for this design. Okay. So firstly, you can see what are the entities: full name, email ID, password, and mobile number. And whenever we create a table, one more thing which is compulsory is ID. Okay. So if it is user table, it can be user ID. If it is book table, it can be book ID. If it is a wishlist table, it can be wishlist ID. Okay. And that ID should be primary key and along with identity. So everyone aware of what is primary key and what is identity. So whenever you create a primary whatever ID with primary key and identity, so identity helps you to like auto increment. The values will get auto incremented. You need not to put each and every time. Okay, you need not to specify an ID. So
Yes.
identity will help you to get the values by its own, increment by its own. Okay. So firstly, user table will have user ID, full name, email ID, password, and mobile number. So firstly, what we'll write: register and login method. Okay. So how the project creation will be: ASP.NET Core Web API, the main project layer. I think everyone knows that. Like you have done same way in your Fundu, same layer we are going to use, all those layers, everything we are going to use the same. We are not going to create any different thing. Okay. We have to select that ASP.NET project only. The main layer I'm talking about. Okay. If you search for ASP.NET. Okay. Here we have the web app, right? But we don't use this web app basically. We go with the web API. Okay. So here we have the ASP.NET Core Web API. We have F# and VB. So we don't use these two languages. I think everyone knows that. We are using the C#, right? So we go with the ASP.NET Core Web API, which is having C#. Okay. So this is the main project layer. So what name will you give for this? Bookstore application. Okay. Bookstore application, bookstore web app, any name which should be including the bookstore. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, the main project layer I'm talking about. I think everyone knows this because you've already worked on a project. So this should be very clear ki what is this main project layer.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the main project layer of yours, bookstore. Then next you'll be creating the repository layer, business layer, or if you have done manager layer. And then we have the model layer or common layer, or maybe some people also write database layer. Okay. So everyone aware what is those layers for? Repositories for writing the logic, right? Business is again you call the methods that you have written in the repository, and model layer will be holding all your request and response model. Okay. So previously what you have used, guys, you have used a request response model or you have used a generic response model. Guys, you understand what is my question is? Have you used a request response model or you have used only one generic response model? Okay. Let me show you and ask. Maybe that will be more understandable. Okay. Currently. Fine. Anyone who has done? Let me see who are in there. W.
Yes, ma'am.
W. Yes. W आपने generic use किया था वो जो response model है कि आपने request response use किया था?
Ma'am, request response.
Okay. Fine. Then just a moment, guys. I will share my screen again because I want you guys to go with the generic. Okay. That will be better. So just give me a moment. So the thing is, there are two ways for that request response model. Either you can go with the request and response model. Okay. Either there is another thing that you just go with only one generic response model. Like normally what you do for register model, you create a response model, right? But instead of going with that, you can also go with only one response model for all the request model. Okay. So you have previously used that request response. So you can now go with the this part. Okay, the generic one. So you will get an idea about that as well. So I will just show you how it looks. Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is what I am talking about. Okay. This is a generic response model. Okay. So you can see I have a register model, note model, and label collaborator model. But as a response, I have only one model, right? This is my model layer, the Fundu model, right? And there is no, like, this is basically known as, like, normally what you do, you have the request model and you have the response model, right? Same way, we can also go with this option, which is going with a generic response model. So generic response model means, I think everyone knows the concept of generic, right? Guys, you have done that in your RFP. Okay. So
Yes.
generic response model means you create only one response model which will be holding your status, message, and data. So what these three things, I think everyone have used these three things in your controllers. Remember, in your controllers, we use this, right? Whenever we are writing the controllers, we do go with this. So let me show you that as well. So you can see the status, message, right? These two things. So basically, this is where the response model we require, right? Whenever we are using it in the controller, right? So when you go with the this part, like generic response model, what it will do, just once you create, and it will be applied to all your request models. In every request model, you can use the same response model. That is only one response model. Okay, clear? So I want you guys to use this. If you want, take a snap of this response model class. Okay, I want everyone to go with this.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So now how the project layers of yours will be if when you are using the bookstore. Okay, so it will be like this. This is the bookstore API, which will be created just now. I have shown, right? ASP.NET Core Web API, this layer. Okay. Then we have a repository layer, we have the common layer, and we have the business logic layer or manager layer, whatever you guys have written previously. You can go with the same name, or if you want, you can use these name also. Okay, fine. Guys, understandable? You can
Yes,
see
sir.
in the
Yes, ma'am.
repository there is no
Yes, sir.
user context. Can you see in the repository there is no user context because we are not going to do any migration. We'll be connecting directly to the database with our repository class. Okay. So what will be the difference? Like when we'll be using the ADO.NET. So how it will be the code in the RL. So here it will be something like this. Like you'll be passing the SQL connection and you'll be using this I configuration. This previously also you have used, right? In your previous project.
Yes.
And you pass it in the constructor. Okay. So whatever your users, you can name it as user repository or user repo or user RL, any name suitable. Okay. So if we want to write a method to register, so this is how it will look if you are using ADO.NET. I think everyone remembers this because we have done in the RFP, right? There were so many things
Yes, ma'am.
writing RFP, this part, like so many parameters we were using. Okay. The only difference is I don't think anyone have used this part. Okay. So why we are writing this way? Because when we were doing the ADO.NET in RFP, we passed the connection string directly, right? We pass the connection string directly in the class. But here, what we are not going to use that. We'll be passing the connection string in your app setting. Okay. So when you pass your connection string in your app setting, okay. So this is the connection string. Okay. If you're passing it here, right? So for accessing that, we need to write in this way. SQL connection equal to configuration connection string, or also there are two to three more methods to write this. Like there are 2 to 3 different ways to write this. Okay, guys.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So this is the one method. Okay, and with the help of this, your connection. So basically, this line you have to write in each and every method. Why? Because when you do migration, your code will get connected to database automatically, right? But in case of ADO.NET, each and every API, whenever you're calling each and every API, the connection should get established. Okay. So for making sure that your connection is getting established, you have to use this SQL connection part. So basically what this line will do, it will connect you to your particular database, right? This is the connection string name, right? This particular name is holding the connection string. You can see here bookstore DB, right? This is holding your whole connection string. Understanding, guys?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. And Ankuj and Anush, don't worry, I will show yours also, like how in your case it will look. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So here, this is the SQL command. So as I told, we have to write the store procedure. So can you see this is store procedure name, SP user registration. Okay. So you have to mention your store procedure name similar to if it is for register method, it should also have like user register or only register, right? Then only you'll get to see, okay, this is the store procedure I have created for registering the user, right? So this is the store procedure, that name of the store procedure which you have created in your database. So what will happen? This will be holding your table credential, right? Because in store procedure, what we write, if it is insert, how you'll write the command? Insert into table name. Insert into particular table name and whatever values you want to insert, right? So that command will be holding the table name, right? In your Fundu, what you do, you write user context dot table name and dot you write the changes, whatever add or update. Remember everyone what I'm trying to say? Guys, please be responsive.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So same way here you will have that confusion ki where are we dealing with the tables, because in Fundu we write everywhere. Whenever we write a logic, we write the table name as well. But here where we are writing, so we are passing it in the store procedure, right? The store procedure will be having your commands. Basically, what is store procedure? It will be holding that insert command or delete command, update command or select command, right? So that commands will be having the table name, right? Because whenever we write a command, the table should be proper. If it is user table, if it exists only, you can use the user table in the command. If it doesn't exist, you cannot use the name, right? Yeah. So this line again, command at command type. So in this, whenever we are using ADO.NET, instead of this store procedure, you can also write a query. Okay. Instead of writing the whole store procedure, what you can write a query. So when you are executing this method, okay, it will go to your database, right? It will go to the connection string, whatever you have provided, and it will check, okay, whether whether it is a query or it is a store procedure. So you have to mention in the command type. If you have, why we are writing here command type dot store procedure, because we are passing a store procedure name. If we are passing a query here, we have to write command type dot query. Okay, because your store, this method, whenever it is accessing your database, it should know you are searching for a store procedure or a query. So that is the reason this command type dot store procedure. Understandable?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now this add
Yes.
is very basic that you guys already know, and learn about execute non-query. When all we use the execute non-query in ADO.NET, and execute scalar, execute reader. Note it down. I will tell again: execute non-query, execute reader, and execute scalar. Okay, what are these things and why we use it in the ADO.NET? Okay, so this is how the RL will look. Now let me show you the manager or business layer. It is going to be the same like how you have written previously. So user BL. Okay, so here you can see this part you have already done previously also, right? What you do, you call the interface and make an object of it, right? Again, you pass in the constructor, and then what we do, we just call the method, right, guys?
Yes,
What we do, we just call the method, whatever
Yes.
proposal, right? Again, let me show you the this thing, controller. So controller also going to be same. Okay, so here also what we do, we just call this iUser BL, and do not think about this logger and all. This is the logger implementation that you have already done in your Fundu, right? So here also we'll be implementing, but the thing is not now. Okay, fine. So
Yes.
we scroll down. This is the register method. So this is also same. You are calling the method register from user BL, and you're checking whether this variable is null or not. If it is not null, then you'll be returning. Okay, so here you can see it is created. Okay, so there are so many things. Do not go with this created, go with okay. bad request. Okay, later you can go. Okay, there are like advanced parts. So everyone aware of bad request, okay, and not found, right?
Yes.
It will be holding a status code, and with the help of the status code, you get to know whether the process is failed or succeeded. Okay, so you got the difference. There is no difference in the business layer and in the controller. The only difference you have in user repository, right? Here, the only way of writing code is different. Again, if you see for login also, same way, everything. And here, like if you want to check, you can apply any kind of logic. This is not a compulsion. Okay, this is the code, how it will start. Fine. So I want you guys today to create the project firstly. So everyone got the understanding of project creation at least. I do not want tomorrow anyone saying me, ma'am, I didn't understood this thing or that thing. If anything, tell me now. No one? Okay, fine. So what we are going to do, I'll be just assisting you. Have this thing in your mind. We are not going to do this project similar to your Fundu that your mentor will be telling each and every line of user part, right? And note also. And once we are done with 4 to 5 methods in note, then we proceed. You guys will start doing. Nothing is going to happen like that. I'll be just assisting you ki what kind of thing you have to do, what method you have to write. You have to do all by yourself because this is your final project, and after this you will be deployed to your company, right? And you will be working on live projects. So make sure that this project which you are going to work now, right? Make sure you work it as like you are in company. Are you guys understanding what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Just don't take it as an assignment or just a project. Just think that this is a project that you are going to work in your company, or it is a company's project. Okay, the first project that you are getting. So in that way you have to work. So I'll be checking your APIs, ki how much you are done and how you have used. Okay, if any error occurs, that we'll see. Fine. But other part, so tomorrow when you join the 11 o'clock session, I am expecting everyone register and login. Minimal. Okay. I'm expecting everyone to be like ready with register and login. Now, many people might think, how about the Swagger implementation and MSMQ and JWT token? All those methods are going to be exactly same. Guys, JWT token method, Swagger implementation and MSMQ, those methods are not going to change. समझ आ रहा सबको?
Yes.
सब same होगा. The only difference is where the database involved, right? Wherever the database is getting involved, that part alone will be different. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So today I'll be having a doubt session at 3 o'clock. I will share the link. If anyone get any error in between creation of project or anything, just join there. Okay? And if not any error, no issues, join the tomorrow session at 11. Okay? And I want everyone to join 5 minutes early. I do not want people joining at 11:35, 11:05 or 11:10. Sharp 11. Or it is better you join 5 minutes early. Clear?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
That's all for whoever working with this thing, MS SQL. Okay. Now for the another thing is just wait.
हेलो मैम.
Yeah.
मैम वो मेरा MVC था ना, तो आपसे कल
Yes.
पूछा था मैंने.
या लेकिन अभी आपका तो शुभम बेसिकली बुक स्टोर स्टार्ट हुआ है ना.
हाँ, तो करूँ क्या मैं मैम? मतलब मेरे साथ जो
आपके लिए मुझे मिला है कल ही नागेंद्र सर ने मुझे अपडेट दिया है कि आपका ये स्टार्ट करने के लिए बुक स्टोर.
के
यस. तो अभी आप इसी पे ध्यान दीजिए.
ठीक है मैम. थैंक यू.
Okay, so we are going to, I'll be showing the bookstore, this backend for whoever working on. This is for Anuj and Ankush. Others, if you want to listen, you can listen, or if you want to drop, you can drop. It is totally up to you. No force.
Hello, ma'am.
क्योंकि कंफ्यूजन हो जाता है बाद में. ठीक है? Take a snap of this as well. कि कैसे आपको अपना कनेक्शन स्ट्रिंग पास करना है, बिकॉज इन Mongo it is different in compare to what we have in आपका फर्स्ट प्रोजेक्ट राइट मोंगो पे C# के साथ
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
टेकन
Yes, ma'am.
okay. So DB setting is done, connection string is passed. Now we have to go to startup. Okay. So startup में what we are going to do is we have to use that. This part. Can you see? Services.configure DB setting. DB setting is nothing but the class name. Okay. DB setting class, and you're writing this line for configuring the connection string. Okay. और उसके बाद आपको सर्विसेज भी ऐड करना पड़ता है लाइक नॉर्मली यू ऐड द सर्विसेज ना यूजिंग ट्रांजिएंट एंड ऑल सेम वे में यू हैव टू यूज द add service also. So these two things you have to do. Firstly, configure and add services, singleton या फिर transient जो भी.
Yes, ma'am.
ये भी snap ले लो इसका भी. This is a proper इसका ही syntax है, ये follow करके लिखना होता है.
Yes.
Done. और ये IDB का मतलब क्या है? जो DB setting में जो हमारा है ना इंटरफेस IDB setting.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. तो स्टार्टअप में कर लिया हमने. यहाँ तक हमारे कनेक्शन स्ट्रिंग का काम खत्म. ठीक है. इसके बाद हमारे कनेक्शन स्ट्रिंग के बारे में हमें सोचने की जरूरत नहीं है. ओके. इसके बाद मैं दिखाती हूँ आपको कि रेपोजिटरी में आपका कोड कैसा दिखेगा इन योर केस. तो पहले यूजर रेपोजिटरी आप ओपन करोगे. आपको भी कुछ भी कॉन्टेक्स्ट क्लास कुछ नहीं. आपके केस में बस वही डिफरेंस है कि डीबी सेटिंग या फिर जो भी नाम देना चाहें आप क्लास को. ठीक है. तो बेसिकली वो डेटाबेस सेटिंग का ही होता है, इसीलिए उसको डीबी सेटिंग रखो तो आपके लिए अंडरस्टैंडेबल रहेगा. तो आपने यहाँ पे क्या लिखना है, पहले ये लाइन प्राइवेट रीड ओनली आई मोंगो कलेक्शन. तो आई मोंगो कलेक्शन मीन्स यू गाइस नो व्हाट इज कलेक्शन, टेबल, राइट? And
Yes.
inside that you have to pass the model whichever you have created for user, and very importantly that should be different. आपका मॉडल अलग रहेगा in compare to others. You can see this user ID है ना, इसके ऊपर आपको ये लिखना पड़ेगा BSN ID representation. क्यों? क्योंकि जब भी हम MongoDB में हम कोई भी ID यूज करते हैं तो आपने देखा वो ऑटोमेटिकली जनरेट होता है एंड इट इज नथिंग बट ऑब्जेक्ट ID, राइट? एंड BSN का आपको पता ही है कि जैसे नॉर्मल जो भी डेटाबेस है उसमें क्या होता है, JSON फॉर्मेट में डेटा हम उससे कनेक्ट करते हैं, राइट?
Yes.
व्हाट काइंड ऑफ डेटा स्ट्रक्चर वी हैव, द BSN,
This
नॉट JSON, राइट? तो BSN का आपको पता है अच्छे से. तो
Yes.
आप जब भी ID लिखोगे तो उसका टाइप क्या होना चाहिए, स्ट्रिंग होना चाहिए, नॉट इंटीजर.
Yes, ma'am.
ये बात ध्यान रखना. आप जितने भी टेबल बनाएंगे जहां जहां भी, जैसे कि बुक की ID हुई, जो भी ID होगी ना, उसका डेटा टाइप क्या होगा, स्ट्रिंग होगा. और ये रिप्रेजेंटेशन आपको लिखनी पड़ेगी. ठीक है. इसका भी स्नैप ले लो. एंड दिस इज नॉट रिक्वायर्ड, कंपल्सन नहीं है रेगुलर एक्सप्रेशन एंड ऑल, बट आई एम जस्ट आस्किंग यू टू टेक फॉर दिस.
Yeah.
हाउ यू शुड राइट. आपने इंटीजर लिखा ना, आपको बहुत सारे एरर आएंगे. ठीक है. क्योंकि वो ऑब्जेक्ट ID है, इट इज नॉट एन इंटीजर. आप लोगों ने देखा है ना, इट इज नॉट अ इंटीजर, इट इज नॉट एग्जैक्टली अ स्ट्रिंग ऑल्सो. ओके. उसका हेक्स स्ट्रिंग है वो. बेसिकली स्ट्रिंग को अगर हेक्स में कन्वर्ट कर दिया जाए तो वो कैसा फॉर्मेट आएगा, आपका ऑब्जेक्ट ID मोंगो का वैसा होता है. ठीक है. तो दैट इज द रीजन यू हैव टू रिप्रेजेंट हियर कि इट इज अ ऑब्जेक्ट ID, BSN टाइप का ऑब्जेक्ट ID है जो भी आपका ये ID है. ओके. सो वंस वी आर डन हियर वी हैव टू गो टू आवर repository. ओके. यूजर रेपोजिटरी में ये वाली जो लाइन है, ये बेसिकली क्यों लिख रहे हैं हम, तो यहाँ पे हम क्या पास कर रहे हैं, रजिस्टर मॉडल. तो रजिस्टर मॉडल में जो भी चीजें होती हैं हमारी, ठीक है, उसके बेसिस पे यूजर, ये जो है ये टेबल नेम होगा आपका. जो यूजर का टेबल क्रिएट होगा ना, तो ये इस नेम पे, यहाँ पे जो भी आप नाम देंगे उसके बेसिस पे. ठीक है. तो ये आई मोंगो कलेक्शन क्या करता है कि इट विल क्रिएट अ कलेक्शन ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ वॉट एवर मॉडल यू आर पासिंग. ओके. एंड दिस विल बी द टेबल नेम. Okay, guys.
Yes.
So this line, this is the same way you'll be writing for it. Okay, let me just show you if you want to learn about it, how you can go through. Okay,
Yes.
just go to your browser, search for store procedures in SQL Server. Okay, if you search like this, so W3 skill like this, you will be getting. Okay, just open this. And you will be getting the syntax, right? What is the syntax for store procedure and how we execute a store procedure. So basically, जब आप store procedure create कर लेते हो अपने database में, तो whether you have written it properly or not, that also you can check with the help of this. Okay? So what is this? The syntax is create, procedure, and procedure name.
Okay.
Okay, and as begin, and it will be, or you can go with as go also. And SQL statement means nothing but if it is for insert, if it is for update. So if it is for insert, you will be writing the insert command here. Okay, let me just scroll down, and there will be examples also. You can see this. This is for select star from customer.
Yes.
So the create procedure and the name is select all customers and select star from customers. So you can execute and check whether you are getting all the customer details or not. So these are very basic. Select one is very basic, but whenever you are writing for insert, it will be a little bit different. Okay, so
Okay.
how you can go for that? Just search for okay. So you will be getting store procedure for inserting. Okay, everything you will be getting. So here you can see this is normal, like just they have inserted values. Okay, and now they are going to write the store procedure. So you can see as begin, like there are, this is little bit complex. Okay, like if statement, if and all is not required, if and all is not required, but this is the only command that you need to focus. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, like you can see, do not focus on everything. Like if it is a store procedure, तो basically आपका ये alter है, आपका normally create procedure name, and it is for insert. So whatever you are going to insert, in our case, we will not be writing the ID. Okay, because ID will be auto incremented. So do not mention ID. Start with whatever parameter you have next. Write it like this. Okay. Whatever data type you have, in your case, that one you have to apply. And then the command will be insert into employees and all. And what are the things, what are the entities that you want to insert, and values. And for that, you have to use @. Okay, only
Yes.
@. Will not be writing any values here, because once we create this, we can use the stare procedure again and again, right? So this is how it looks. And this is a very complex one, so no need to write everything, just how I told. Okay,
Yes.
so you have to, that is what I told, na? Take your time, today's whole time, and learn about it. Ki how, what is store procedure, what is table creation, all those things. Whatever you don't know about it, just learn about it. Just, it is very, very simple. If you just search about it, you will get. Because
Yes.
if it is for MS SQL, sorry, MySQL, or for any other thing, it will be difficult. But for SQL Server, you will get so many materials if you search for it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. So everyone can drop and continue. Do not waste your time here, because there is nothing for you guys here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
हेलो मैम
Yeah. शुभम.
मैम मेरा एमवीसी बाद में होगा फिर
अब आई डोंट नो कि एमवीसी आपका है कि नहीं होगा. अभी भी वैसे आप सेशन में रहेंगे भी, तो यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड, बिकॉज यू ऑलरेडी वर्किंग ऑन अ प्रोजेक्ट, एंड एट अ टाइम 2 प्रोजेक्ट पे आई विल नॉट सजेस्ट.
ओके मैम
Okay, so पहले बुक स्टोर कर लेते हैं. आफ्टर दैट इफ देयर इज अ रिक्वायरमेंट फॉर एमवीसी, यू विल लर्न एमवीसी.
ओके मैम
राइट?
you.
या.
Yeah.
ओके, सो अरुणेश, आपने किया जो मैंने कल आपको बोला था, कितना पार्ट?
यस मैम डेटाबेस क्रिएट कर लिया है, स्टोर प्रोसीजर बना लिया है, प्रोजेक्ट भी क्रिएट कर लिया है, बट देयर इज अ वेरी स्मॉल इशू. इसमें रिपोजिटरी